Very good morning to everyone. In this lecture, EC8652 Wireless Communication, Unit 1 Wireless Channels. In previous session, we have discussed the large scale path losses and free space path losses, and also the link budget design and time dispersion parameters for multi path channels. Now today we are going to discuss about the topic multipath time delay spread techniques. In this multipath time delay spread, there are the two different category. We are divided into two different category. Number one, slow fading and fast fading. So this is a Doppler spread. Doppler spread slow fading and Doppler spread fast fading methods. In the first slow fading method, the coherent time period is greater than the symbol time period of the multipath channel signal, and the Doppler spread of signal will be a low. So the channel variations slower than the baseband signal variations. In this slow fading effect, the channel, the transmitted baseband signal S of t changes at a faster range when compared to channel impulse response. Thus, in frequency domain, the Doppler spread of the channel is very less than the baseband information signal. Generally, the signal will undergo the slow fading if the symbol time period is less than the coherent time period. So that is the Doppler spread is less than the baseband of the signal. In this relationship between the different multipath factors and the type of fading scenario experienced in represented in mobile communication environment, according to different parameters discussed, the transmitted signal may be affected by slow or fast fading types. Now, the symbol time period and baseband signal, it can be represented in the graphical representation. The transmitted base signal bandwidth with respect to transmitted baseband signal bandwidth. So the symbol of fast and slow fading is a frequency selective, and also the flat fading effect will undergo the channel if, if the amplitude factor of delta functions change moreover the different multipath factors. When the channel gain is random but remain constant for all times, that is therefore hm equal to h for all m. This model for slow fading situations where the delay requirement is short compared to the channel coherent time. This is also called the quiescent static scenario. In this condition, on a realization of the channel H, this is an AWGN, that is a white Gaussian noise, adaptive white Gaussian noise. The channel with received signal to noise ratio H to signal to noise ratio. Then the maximum rate of reliable communication supported by this channel is log 1 plus H2 SNR bits per second per hertz. In this quantity is a function of random channel gain h and is therefore random. Now suppose the transmitter encode the data at a rate r bit per second per hertz. If the channel realization h is such the log 1 plus h2 SNR less than the r, that is a receiver, then whatever the code is used to transmit, the decoding error probability cannot be made arbitrarily small. Then the system is said to be an outage and outage probability is P out in receiver is equal to log 1 plus h2 SNR less than r. Thus, the best transmitter can do is to encode the data assuming that the channel gain is strong edge to support desired rate, or the reliable communication can be achieved whenever that happens and outage occur otherwise. A more suggestive interpretation is to think of the channel as allowing the information through when the fading gain is h. Now we can move. The reliable decoding is possible as long as this amount of information exceed the target rate. The outage probability, that is a railing fading, therefore h is equal to 0.1. At a high signal to noise ratio, the detection error probability also delay like 1 divided by SNR. Thus we see that the coding cannot significantly improve the error probability in a slow fading scenario. The reason is that while coding can average out the Gaussian white noise, it is cannot average out of the channel fading, which affect all the coded symbols. Thus deep fade, which is a typical error event in the uncoded cases. It also the typical error event in the coded case. There is a conceptual difference between the additive white Gaussian noise channels and slow fading channels. This cannot be done for the slow fading channels, as well as the probability that the channel in deep fade is non-zero. Thus the capacity of the slow fading channels is strictly sense is zero, and alternatively performance measured in the outage capacity. Now the fast fading, when comparing the rate of change of radio channels, the baseband signal transmitted will change depending upon how fast it take place. The channel is classified either a fast fading or a slow fading channels. In fast fading channels, the concurrent time of channels will smaller than the symbol time period of the signal transmitted. This is also termed as a time selective fading, and it will result in signal destruction. So the transmitted signal will undergo fast fading when the concurrent time is less than the symbol time period. Okay, you can understand the line. If the transmitted signal will undergo the fast fading when the concurrent time period is less than the symbol time period, and also the bandwidth symbol of bandwidth is less than the Doppler bandwidth. When a radio channels is mentioned as a slow or fast fading channels, it does not mention whether the channel is frequently selective or flat fading in nature. The channel, it is possible to approximately the impulse response without the time factor. The fast fading flat fading channels is channel in which the amplitude factor of the delta functions changes moreover the faster than the rate of change of baseband signal transmitted. In real time, The situations fast fading occur particularly for low data rate as a signal is received. So this is a comparison between the slow fading and also the fast fading effect. Now let us move to access the impact of fading. The outage capacity is plotted as a fraction of the additive white Gaussian noise capacity at the same signal to noise ratio in the multipath channels. It is clear that the impact is much more significant in the low SNR, indeed at a high SNR. So the capacity is equal to log S signal to noise ratio plus log F minus 11, a constant different irrespective of the signal to noise ratio. Thus the relative loss get smaller at a high signal to noise ratio. At a low signal to noise ratio, on other hand, C equal to F minus 11 minus signal to noise ratio into log 2E. Now the fast fading channels, in the slow fading scenario, the channel remain constant over the transmission during the code word. If the code word length spans several concurrent period, then the time diversity is achieved and the outage probability improved. When the code word length spans many concurrent period, we are in the so-called fast fading region. How does one characteristics the performance limit of such a fast fading channels? The model of fast fading channels Ym is equal to HMXM plus Wm. Hm is equal to H remains constant over the concurrent time period of symbols, concurrent time symbols, and therefore it are across different concurrent periods. This is the so-called block fading models. Suppose the coding is done over L such concurrent period. If the concurrent time is equal to 1, we can effectively model this as the L parallel subchannels that fade independently. So the finally the outage probability in the form is out P of out is equal to P into 1 divided by L summation of T L is equal to 1 to L log 1 plus mod of He whole square. Signal to noise ratio is less than the received signal. So in this session we are discuss the multipath based Doppler spread in the fast and slow fading scenarios. Thank you for watching this video.